At 19 years old, I made what everyone considered to be one of the dumbest decisions ever in my life. My parents didn't think that I was the smartest for this, and my friends thought I was being a complete idiot. And honestly, even for me, I didn't even know if this was the right decision. I was concerned that I was potentially throwing my life away. But that one stupid decision, ironically enough, is the exact thing that got me to the point where I now make anywhere from 25 to 30K per month online. And in this video, I'm going to show you what that was. Because looking back on it, honestly, it was the best decision that I ever made, even though at face value it might have been considered stupid or dumb. And if you genuinely want to become successful in your life, there will be a certain point where you are going to have to make a commitment and a decision to whether you're going to go all in or not. And honestly, that decision, if you end up going all in, might be seen as dumb by your friends, by your family, and this is why I want to talk about it in this video. This story might just change your perspective completely, and that is my number one objective with this YouTube video. So my entire life, I was essentially pushed down the college path. My grandpa was a very successful engineer. My parents were both teachers. And so the entire premise of me going through life was with the goal of eventually going to college, becoming an engineer, getting a 100K per year job, and riding that out until the day I die, essentially. And so all the way up until about my senior year of high school, everything was going perfectly according to plan. I was taking my AP classes in high school. I was on the track where I was going to go to a pretty solid college for engineering as a freshman. I got good grades, I was working jobs, I was active in sports, and so everything on paper was going down the right path. And then a little thing called COVID happened, which completely threw a wrench into everything. The plan was still the same. The plan still was to go to college and to go down that path and still do everything that I said, but what happened during COVID is it gave me a lot of time to reflect. I started really thinking about what I actually wanted my life to look like and what purpose that I was actually meant to serve on this planet. And even though my grandpa was a successful engineer, that didn't necessarily mean that I should just naturally go down this path if it's not something that I wanted to do. And so as I started to go to college my freshman year, I was going down the path of becoming a mechanical engineer, but this entire time I was 50-50 on if this was even what I wanted to be doing. And so during my first semester of college, with actually going and experiencing it, I had a firm realization that I did not want to continue going down this path. Number one, I didn't like the environment. I didn't like the idea of going out, getting drunk, partying, all this degenerate stuff. I was never a fan of that myself. Number two, when I would have my college classes, I sat there and it was already a lot of information that I understood, and I was able to catch on to things really quickly, and it felt like the information that I was learning was quite literally tailored for dumb people. And number three, at the same exact time, especially when COVID was hitting, I was really thinking about what I actually wanted my life to look like. And around the same time, I was seeing people on the internet, on TikTok, Instagram, and I'm sure you can relate to this, where they were making a ton of money online, they were flexing their lifestyle. And to be honest, when I first started seeing this, it really pissed me off. And I'm not a super materialistic guy, but just seeing the fact that you don't have to go down this route of going through college and working some shitty 9-to-5 job for the rest of your life really inspired me to understand what life could actually look like if I did something different. And just like anybody naturally, when I discovered this, I started to think about the idea of making money online for myself. I started highly contemplating this for myself. And so the original plan was I'm going to keep going to college. I'm going to start trying to make money online on the side of it with the limited hours that I have, and I'm going to see what I can do with this. Naturally, if you want to live this lifestyle that you probably see all over social media, this is the objective that you should be doing too, is you should be working some 9-to-5 job, or you should be in college and you should be trying to make money online in addition to that, unless you're 100% sold on the idea of making money online already and you don't want to go down that path at all. For me, like I said, I was kind of like 50-50 on it. So I started trying to make money online, and for about 4 to 5 months, I failed with a bunch of different business models like dropshipping, trading, affiliate marketing, building your own agency, etc., etc. I eventually understood that the reason why I wasn't making these business models work is because I lacked high income skill sets, which led me down the idea of doing high ticket sales. But during this process of failing with all these different business models, it honestly pissed me off even more, because I'm seeing other guys make money online, I'm seeing other guys being successful, and I'm not there, and I'm trying these business models, and it really pissed me off to just I need to make it work. I'm an egotistical person, and I'm like, I need to be where these guys are at. The mere fact that these people were able to make it work and I wasn't honestly pissed me off, because I knew that I could do it. It's just a matter of finding the right thing and getting in the right opportunity. And so when I started doing high ticket sales, I had the idea and the commitment to myself that I was going to go all in and I was going to make this work no matter what. Even though I was still going to college and still working as a lifeguard, I had the idea in the back of my head that I'm going to make this work 100%. And so when I had that extra energy and that extra commitment in me, I started actually making it work. I started making anywhere from 3 to 5K per month, part-time appointment setting while I was still full-time in college and while I was working as a lifeguard, and I started getting the proof of concept. And when I first started making that little bit of money, it was a better feeling than what I feel now making 25 to 30K per month, because those first wins it was just the icing on the cake. It felt so great. And so at this point, I was finishing up my freshman year in college, majoring as a mechanical engineer. I was making anywhere from 3 to 5K per month online. I was working part-time as a lifeguard, and I was in a really good spot, to be honest with you. But at the same time, I wasn't, because I was having to balance 3 things that require a lot of effort and a lot of time all at the same time. And I had to make a decision on what I actually wanted for the future of my life. And the dumb mistake that I'm talking about in this video is I decided to completely drop out of college and completely quit my job and just go all in on making money online. Because the reality is when I was making 3 to 5K per month, I saw the vision and I saw the possibility with other people around me that were making more money. I saw that I could make this work as long as I kept going down this path, getting better every single day and putting the actual work in. I also daydreamed every single day on what it would be like if I actually just had the full day to focus on making money online. But at the time, I was working part-time as a lifeguard, I was doing my college classes, and I was having to make money online. I started thinking, what if I didn't have those other 2 things and I was able to just spend the full day making money online? Like, how much more money could I actually make for myself? At the same time, too, college was costing me money, and I didn't actually like what I was learning. So all of these things combined together led me down the path of dropping out of college. However, when I first brought this up to people that I was close with, they completely disagreed with me. At first, my parents were very, very skeptical of this decision, and a lot of the friends that I had talked to and that I had accumulated over college said that I was being a complete idiot. And I guess this is the first lesson that you need to understand, is that if you have a vision for yourself with where you want to take your life and where you want to get to that nobody else believes in, you have to stick with that vision. And there's a reason why it's a vision. It's because only you can truly see this vision. You see, I gave up on the idea of needing a degree because I was already making money and I was already qualified working with business owners that were already making a lot of money. And the reality is too, when you drop out of college and quit a job like this, when you're already making money online, you're leaving yourself with no degree and no backup plan. And a lot of people would consider that a bad thing. I actually think that that's a great thing. Because throughout my journey of making money online after I dropped out of college, there were so many times where I could have just threw in the towel. I could have just quit. There were so many times where I had bad things happen to me, bad experiences. And if I hadn't dropped out of college and hadn't quit my 9-to-5 job, there would have been a good chance that I would have just quit there and just gave up on my dreams of making money online. But because I had no backup plan, because I had no other option, I had to make it work. And it was able to push me through those things and those bad experiences to get me to the next level. The reality is too, a lot of people just don't understand online business, especially in the older generation. In the first couple months after completely deciding in my own head that I was going to be dropping out of college, it was quite terrifying because I had a lot of pressure on myself to actually make it work and to prove myself. The idea of me having to go back to my friends and go back to my family and say, hey, I was planning on dropping out of college, but I'm actually going to go back to college because this making money online thing didn't work for me. The idea of me having to admit that to people and to go back into this position after talking about myself actually succeeding was the most embarrassing thing on the fucking planet. So with that, there was a lot of pressure that I created on myself to make this work, but pressure creates diamonds. The problem is when you're making money online and when you're trying to run your own business and doing high ticket sales and stuff like that, sometimes you have some really awesome months and some really awesome weeks, and sometimes you have some really slow months and some really slow weeks. And so there were times where I would make $3 grand, $5 grand in a singular week. But then on the flip side, there were times where I would make $0 in a single week, even working the entire time. And you better believe when I had those dips where I had a slow week or a slow month that I was in full on panic mode. I didn't have a backup plan. I wasn't going to go back to college. And so I had to make it work. And there were so many times when I would have these dips that I started even questioning my own self. I say, am I cut out to do this? Am I really meant to make money online? Is this really what I'm going to do? Is this thing even supposed to be consistent or predictable? At the end of the day, though, I look back on this decision that I made of dropping out of college and leaving myself with no plan B as one of the best decisions that I've ever made, despite all of the shit that I had to go through. Because this decision forced me to go all in and forced me to draw the best out of myself in terms of a work ethic and in terms of learning skills, because I had no backup plan. And so as a byproduct, after I dropped out of college, it wasn't exactly perfectly linear, but I went from making 5K per month to making anywhere from 10 to 20K per month online just a couple months later. And without a doubt, there were some periods where it was super, super slow and I was panicking and I was stressed, but overall, my life was still going in a positive trajectory and direction. And looking back on it now, this previous summer, I would have either been graduating or I would have been going into a 5th year pursuing like another degree or something like that. And the problem is I would have missed out on all of that money being made, and I would probably be closer and closer to being in debt. But because of the decision of me first making a little bit of money online and then putting my back against the wall and going all in, I literally had to make it work. And so as a byproduct, it drew the best out of myself to make it work. Now, am I saying you should drop out of college or quit your 9-to-5 job? Not necessarily. In some cases, I am saying this, yes, but it's very particular. It really depends on your own situation. What I am saying though is that if you're not happy with your college path that you're on right now, or maybe you're in a 9-to-5 job and you're not happy with that either, what you need to do is you need to start trying to create a better life for yourself in the limited hours that you have outside of that. Spend 2 to 3 hours per day and cut out all the other crap like watching Netflix and doing all these bad habits and going out on the weekend. Spend the limited time that you have outside of your 9-to-5 or outside of your college classes trying to create a better life for yourself, whether this is making money online or whether it's a specific hobby that you have. Once that thing starts to pick up momentum and once you start to see a future for yourself where maybe you could go all in on that thing, then make that decision for yourself. And I promise you, if you have a vision for yourself, you should eventually go all in. It was only after I was making between 3 to 5K per month online, in addition to my college classes and my work as a lifeguard, where I then made the decision to go all in. And when I made that decision, it was one of the best things that I ever did. And so if you're afraid of making the wrong choice or the dumb choice, sometimes you actually need to just make that dumb choice and roll with the punches and just figure it out over time. If you're somebody that wants to make money online for yourself and you want to explore the idea of it, maybe you're not 100% ready to do it just yet, but you're willing to explore the idea, what I'll do is I'll leave a free resource in the link in the description for my 10-hour free course on how to get started in high ticket sales. You can start to go through that and you can see if it's something that you potentially want to do. If you're somebody that's 100% sure you want to make money online for yourself and you want to do it through high ticket sales, maybe you've been watching my channel for some time, what you can do is you can book a call with me using the link in the description where you and I can talk a little bit more about how I can help you get started, get to the point where you're making a little bit of money so that then you can go all in on something like this and set yourself up for a life of success. At the end of the day though, if you have a vision for yourself, you need to reject the opinions of other people. If you genuinely believe in your core that you are going to do the right thing and you have the right vision for yourself, screw what your parents say, screw what your friends say. You need to be delusional and you need to make it happen. If I hadn't dropped out of college, there would be a very high chance that I would have just made a little bit of money in high ticket sales and then I would have just returned in going down that path of the college path. And fast forward now, I make anywhere from 20 to 30K per month with my own online business. I probably wouldn't have gotten to this point where I'm living this life if I hadn't dropped out of college. These are just lessons that I've learned, and hopefully you found this video insightful in the slightest way for yourself. If I was able to inspire at least one person, then my job is done here. Goodbye.